When it comes to adding some flexibility to your desk setup without losing functionality, especially if you're in a tight space, most people wouldn't know where to start from. But what if I told you I found the perfect portable monitor ideal for tight spaces? So whether you're a productivity enthusiast, a creator, a gamer, or just a regular user looking for something affordable for their small room, the UMAX 22 might just be the missing piece for your setup. In this video, I take you through everything you need to know about it plus so much more. Buckle up and let's go for the ride. Getting into it, it comes in a white box with minimal branding, and when you open it, first up is the screen covered in protective nylon, and lifting it up, it feels super light. Turning it around, it's quite slim, and for context, my index finger is just a few inches thicker. More on the design and build quality a little later in the video. Putting it aside, you also get a 30-watt USB-C charging brick for the monitor when using devices that don't supply enough power. Then going deeper, you get a mini HDMI to a standard size HDMI and two USB-C to C cables that can supply power as well as video and audio signals. Diving deep into the design and build quality, it maxes out at 22 inches, which if you'd ask me is ideal for tight spaces like a hostel, a caravan, or a small bedroom like this one. Now, honestly speaking, I kinda stretched out this room to the very brink, given that I only had about 3,200mm to use in terms of length, 1,320mm in terms of depth, then factor in the door opening inwards and chewing up 820mm, I'm left with only 2,380mm to work with. For someone working with similar dimensions or even smaller, this monitor would be ideal for you. In terms of build quality, it feels quite premium with the chassis predominantly made out of aluminum and plastic. When it comes to size, like mentioned earlier, it's quite slim, and to put that into perspective, putting my pinky finger right next to it, it's slightly thicker by almost a millimeter. Thickness aside, around the back towards the bottom you've got this slight bump that hosts most of its internals. Then in the middle of the bump, there are 4 VESA mount holes which from face value is about 75mm by 75mm. If you opt not to mount it on a monitor stand or a monitor arm, it's got a kickstand that makes it easy to use whether you're out in the park, lying on your bed, or seated in your dining room. Taking a closer look at the inputs, you've got 2 USB-C ports and a micro HDMI port on one side, and they allow you to connect your devices to the display, and like mentioned a little earlier, you might need to connect it on power if the connected device doesn't supply enough power to the monitor. Across the other side, you've got the menu control buttons that allow you to navigate the different menus, then a USB OTG, otherwise known as USB on the go, which allows you to connect a mouse or a keyboard without needing a computer. Finally, at the bottom, you've got a headphone jack port. When it comes to setup and connection, there's 2 ways you can go about it. One is using a device like a laptop or computer that can relay power to the monitor, and the second way is when you use consoles like the Xbox Series X or the PlayStation 5, which will require you to plug it into power. Something to note though, the screen isn't as bright when power is being relayed from your laptop, and while this might not be an issue for the average consumer, some people might prefer a much brighter display. In terms of layout, depending on your preference, you might have it either horizontally or vertically, and again, being a portable monitor, you can use it on your bed if you're in a tiny hostel or room. As for the display, it's an IPS panel with a resolution of 2560 by 1440p, then a color gamut of 100% sRGB, which for the average consumer is pretty much all you need, given the fact that for the most part you'll use it for content consumption, casual gaming, and doing some work or assignments if you're a student. For the parents out there, this can be a good starting point if your kid wants a monitor they could use for gaming and schoolwork, and the fact that its low light blue light feature uses advanced technology to filter out harmful blue light radiation, all the while maintaining image clarity and color accuracy, your kid's eyes will be saved from dryness, fatigue, and discomfort that is caused by blue light on monitors. When it comes to viewing angles, it's nothing compared to an OLED, but again, for the average consumer, this wouldn't be that big of an issue. For the creatives like me, it does a good enough job when it comes to editing casual videos, but once you cross over to professional edits, there's better monitors for that. Another use case for creators would be using it as a display when recording yourself, whether on a phone or a digital camera. Case in point, it's coming clutch for me when recording top-down shots. When it comes to gaming, like mentioned earlier, it works perfectly well for the casual gamer, whether you are using a PS5, Xbox, or a PC. Once you switch to competitive gaming, especially FPS games, this monitor isn't ideal given the fact that it comes with a locked-in refresh rate of 60Hz and a 20 millisecond response time. In saying that, it's not all dark and gloom on the gaming front, and that's because while I'd have definitely preferred a higher refresh rate and lower response time, the FreeSync feature still makes gaming on it fairly smooth. Honestly speaking, the average consumer most likely wouldn't notice any difference. Moving on to productivity, my guess is most people who would get this monitor would do so mainly for productivity and for a few good reasons. First up, the 1440p resolution is good enough to ensure you see every detail, whether you're crunching numbers on a spreadsheet, editing photos in Lightroom, or doing research on the internet, and that's not all. Second is the 60Hz refresh rate, while not ideal for gaming, is more than enough when scrolling through pages on a Word document or a web page, and that combined with the response time it comes with, the average consumer won't have any troubles while working. Moving along, its adjustable stands also play an important role when it comes to ergonomics, so whether you want to adjust the tilt when using the kickstand or hide and swivel on the monitor arm, it adapts to your ideal viewing angle, keeping you comfortable during long working sessions, and this means less neck strain and more hours of productive work. Moving on to its drawbacks, while the Unify UMax 22 has many strengths, it does come with a few drawbacks, and first up is the 60Hz refresh rate, which while decent for everyday productivity, might not be sufficient for serious gamers or those who demand ultra smooth motion, particularly in fast-paced games. For the average consumer who doesn't know anything to do with refresh rates, low refresh rates like this one could lead to noticeable lag during high action-paced movements while playing a game like Call of Duty, and this goes hand in hand with a high response time of 20 milliseconds. Another drawback worth mentioning is the 22-inch screen. Although compact and space sufficient, it may feel limiting to some users who are accustomed to larger displays, more so if you often work with multiple windows or detailed projects. In conclusion, the Unify UMax 22 is a capable monitor that excels in not only productivity but also entertainment for the average user, and for few good reasons. First up is its 1440p resolution, which delivers good enough visuals, making it ideal for tasks that require attention to detail. So whether you're editing photos, gaming, working on spreadsheets, or just browsing the web, you won't have any troubles. Secondly, it would be because of its portability, which arguably for most people would be the standard feature thanks to its 22-inch screen size and kickstand that make it easy to transport and use on the go, whether you're moving between rooms, taking it to a co-working setup, or setting up a temporary gaming or workstation. If you'd ask me, it's a significant advantage for those who require a reliable monitor on the go without sacrificing too much screen real estate. When it comes to ergonomics, the kickstand adds comfort when working at your dining table or bed, and for those who choose to mount it on a stand, you still get to adjust its height and tilt, which is essential for those long work sessions. To sum it up, the UMax 22 is a solid choice for those who've got a tiny space to work with, or someone who's just looking for a smaller monitor for that extra functionality. Even though it doesn't come with top-of-the-line features, it balances performance, portability, and value, making it a practical addition to any work or gaming space. Well, there you have it, peeps. This video was produced after 2 weeks with the UMax 22, and to be clear and transparent, they sent me out the monitor to review, but they had no editorial input or copy approval. All the opinions are mine based on the time I've spent with it. As always, I hope you enjoyed and found this video helpful, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and click the notification bell to get notified whenever I post a new video. If you prefer to get something bigger like a super ultra wide, check out this review of the Samsung Odyssey Neo G9. Until then, people of the internet, I'm signing out. See you on the next one.